Let's talk about how to stay motivated and keep on track. Hey guys, it's Dave Ward, and about a week or two ago, Tony Horton posted a video, and then I reposted it via my blog about how to stay motivated to keep losing weight. And Tony had 6 things that he talked about, and I wanted to film a video and kind of give you my spin on those 6 things, and then add a 7th thing that has really been, I think, the catalyst for me. So let's talk a little bit about Tony's 6. The first one was to find your why. This is probably the most important thing about staying motivated, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. I deal with a lot of people who are small business owners, and they're starting their own business, and they have some big dreams and they're big aspirations, and I talk to them about, well, why do you think you want to do this? And a lot of times they'll say things that are just kind of outrageous, and they're not even things they want. You know, maybe it's a Lamborghini or a yacht or something crazy, and eventually they lose motivation to keep going because they've set a goal that A, is probably unrealistic, and B, is something that they don't really want. You know, what most people want is to pay for their kids' college. That's the sort of why that keeps people showing up every day and keeps people motivated, because it's important, okay? When it comes to fitness, you've got to figure out your why. If it's important to you to have a 6-pack and you're willing to make the sacrifices that are involved with that, then that's going to be a great why for you. But if your why is to have a 6-pack and you understand that you're not willing to make the sacrifices, in other words, you know, if you watch my other videos and I talk about 100% and 0, that's kind of what it takes to get a 6-pack. You need to eat perfectly to get there. If you're not willing to do that, you need to check your why, okay? So having a big, important why, something that is enough that's going to get you out of bed early in the morning, keep you up late at night, and is important in your life in a fundamental way. The second one Tony talks about, your inspiration, okay? Having some people in your life who inspire you from a fitness perspective, if that's what we're talking about. You know, business, we could talk about that as well, but let's kind of stay focused on fitness here. You know, I have a ton of people in my life who are inspirations to me. Tony's one of them. You know, I mean, a guy, Tony's 55, 56 years old now, in the most unbelievable shape of anybody you've ever met. You know, that inspires me. It inspires me as a 42-year-old to want to be better all the time, okay? I have friends who are inspiration, people that I cycle with, people that I surf with, who are inspirations because I look at what they're doing and I say, man, I want to be better. I want to do that. I want to get faster. I want to surf harder. I want to, you know, ski better. Whatever it is, I'm surrounded by people who inspire me. And that is one of those things that when you crawl into that dark little place that says, I'm not getting out of bed today, or I'm just not going to push play today, or I'm too busy, or I'm not going to eat that, or I'm going to eat this, those people are what inspire you to keep going. And that is a big part of staying motivated. The second one is really the company you keep, the people that you surround yourself with is incredibly important. If you are surrounded by unhealthy people, it's gonna be really hard to be healthy, okay? In contrast, if you're surrounded by people who are healthy, it is 1,000 times easier. And a lot of times those people sometimes unexpectedly will become your inspiration in a moment where you maybe thought you didn't have any, okay? This, for me, is what I love about being a Beachbody coach. I'm just surrounded by a group of people who are into health and fitness. They love health and fitness. They love helping other people. And they help keep me focused. And I'm not always perfect with my health and fitness. You know, if you've watched a lot of my stuff, you know that I've had my struggles just like everybody else. And I have ups and downs. But because I surround myself with this community of incredibly healthy people, my lows are never too low. You know, I never get too far away from my health and fitness goals. You know, and my highs are as high as I want them to be, but my lows, I just never get that low because I have this groundswell that lifts me up. And that is my friends, and that is, for me, the coach community, and some of my friends locally who maybe aren't coaches, people I surf with or cycle with. The next thing, piece of advice from Tony, which I think is great, is really just go do it. You know, just push play, okay? Make it happen. What I see a lot with people is they'll say, I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like this workout's gonna change my life, so I'm not gonna do it. And then they miss a few workouts and all of a sudden they say, oh, just they hit the low. Okay? sometimes you just have to do the work. You know, there's Tony we used to do fitness camps, and one time we did one with him back in 2010 where he gave us these t-shirts and it had all these Tonyisms on the back. And there was one there that I'd never heard him say before actually, but is something that I've always sort of kept in the back of my mind. And it was, sometimes you have to forget about your best and just do the work. You know, he always talks about do your best, forget the rest. Sometimes you got to forget about your best and just do the work, okay? More often than not, I find that when I'm in that mode, after the first 10 minutes, I start to feel better. You know, these good chemicals start flowing around in my brain and I am ready to be there, and then I can focus. There are other times where it's like, all right, let's just get it over with. Let's just get it over with. And at the very least, I take away from that some pride in knowing that at least I did it. And I think that's a huge one for staying motivated. The next one from Tony was to set reasonable goals. I kind of talked about this with respect to the why, but I see this happen a lot. You know, people go, I want to get Shaun T's body. And then they buy a program that is way over their head and they give up because for a couple reasons. One, getting Shaun T's body may or may not be a reasonable goal for you. You have to take into account genetics. I mean, it simply may not be possible no matter how much work you do. And that's just, you know, based on science. But I will tell you that, you know, I believe that people can do great things with their bodies and they can accomplish a lot. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from doing that. I want to be 100% clear about that. But if you've got, you know, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 pounds to lose, you need to really think about reasonable goals, not just for the end, but what are your milestones along the way? You know, setting 2-week goals even. I have the people that I work with personally and coach on the fitness side of things, I have them weigh themselves every 2 weeks because I want to keep them engaged. I don't want them weighing themselves every day because your scale goes up and down and, you know, who knows, you might be retaining a little extra water someday and things get crazy and you go, oh, I've gained 2 pounds, I'm going to quit. You weigh yourself every 2 weeks and you probably will be able to set a measurable thing. So, you know, setting small, shorter term goals that move you forward, okay? The last one from Tony was to reward yourself. I'm a big believer in this as well. You know, over the years, since 2003, my wife and I have been working out at home using Beachbody stuff. We've done all kinds of stuff. I mean, I can remember we did a challenge where if we lost a certain amount of weight during a certain program, you know, I can't remember what she got, but I remember I got a new set of golf clubs. You know, and it was like, I was going to work for those golf clubs. And so, you know, think about doing that, setting some sort of a challenge for you to get a reward. It doesn't have to be anything as dramatic as golf clubs, and quite often it's not for us. You know, there'll be smaller little things that we want, and you know, we just sort of say, okay, great, you can have that if you do this, okay? So those are Tony's 6, and I think they're really great. A 7th one really occurred to me today as I was surfing, and I recognize that, you know, for me and my own personal health and fitness, the reason that it's important to me is because I want to remain athletic as long as possible. I want to be able to surf when I want to surf. I want to be able to ride my bike, have a road bike. I want to be able to ride my road bike when I want to ride my road bike. During the winter, I want to go skiing. Okay, going on this heli skiing trip now, and it's amazing. And I go with my stepdad, who's 81. And at 81 years old, I am not going to sit here and tell you that, you know, he's Eric Pollard, you know, racing down the mountain and doing backflips. But at 81 years old, this man goes heli skiing with us, okay? And he might be a little bit slow, but he's still there doing it. What else do I know about him? I know he's run over 30 marathons. He plays tennis all the time. He swims. He's active. And that enables him to go do something he loves. So my advice to you, and my seventh thing to add to Tony's 6, is to find something you absolutely love that involves some sort of athletic pursuit and integrate that into your fitness and understand that that's what's motivating you, okay? So right now it's September 24th, something like that, 24th, 25th. And we're just starting to get to the point where I'm starting to think about ski season. I'm not quite there yet, but as we approach ski season, my workout routine will change. I will do a lot more lower body stuff. And I'll do like even Les Mills Pump has a step aerobics. I love that step thing. And it's not because I like doing step aerobics. It's because I know what that does for my body and how that makes me so much stronger, prevents me from getting injured, gives me more stamina, allows me to stay out there longer doing something I love. And that really came across to me as I was surfing today, and I really thought about why am I here and what am I doing and why do I continue to work out even when I don't really feel like it? And that's really why. It's because I have something in my life that I just have such a passion for, and I want to be able to do it as long as possible. And so for me to push myself a little bit physically every single day, even if it's just the last couple of days I've been doing P90 and just doing a couple P90 workouts, that's why. So think about that as you go back through Tony's thing and start with what your why is. Find something you love, make that a part of your everyday fitness. That's my message for today. Thank you for your time. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back to talk to you tomorrow.